and I am one of the co-founders of Brandscape 360. And today I want to share a few concepts and ideas with you guys to bridge the gap, connect the dots, and to just bring all of the concepts here together. So this is not going to be a presentation, it's going to be a conversation. And my goal is to simplify the information because I get very excited about this. So if you see me going a little bit too much in the hole, you pull me out. But I'm gonna make it very simple for you guys, right? So our marketing philosophy lies in this right here, right? How to get email subscribers in your sleep. So this the frameworks I'm gonna show apply to any business. But we're gonna show it to you through the lens of the One Breath Metaverse and how we're gonna make all of this come to life, right? So there's a few concepts that I wanna get all of us on the same page on. What is a marketing funnel? Why you need a marketing funnel? Our marketing philosophy and examples. So whether you are a certified CPA, what other businesses do we have in the room? I know we have a speaker, the deepest voice in the room. You know, we have my guy Steve over there. Who else do we have in the room here? Like, what other types of businesses or jobs do we have in the room?
Media company.
We have a media company, okay? Anything else?
Financial company.
Manufacturing, financial company. What I'm gonna share applies to every single one of your companies, right? So, firstly, we have to look at why most businesses fail, right? One, they don't get enough leads. All clients are from referrals. 99% of the leads that you get are unqualified, and there's no system to manage them. No one knows who you are, and bonus problem, you might be the problem, right? And the reason is, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't know what you don't know, you can't ask the question. And you can play that out as far as it goes. So information is the greatest resource that we have, right? So that is the first concept. So there are four main ways to generate awareness for any business, right? The first one is you invest in ads. So the modern platforms of the day, back in the days, you buy a newspaper ad, you print out your flyer, you stick it in the car, you buy a page out of the television, 30-second slot. Nowadays, in addition to that, you can invest in targeted advertising to place your business in front of potential customers. Next, you can leverage social media to discuss, not about yourself, but about the topics, obstacles, and challenges that your client faces, right? Third, you can form strategic partnerships with complementary businesses. And number four, you can get involved in community activities and events to build awareness around that. Everybody following so far?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. I love the feedback, right? Now, what's a marketing funnel, right? I'm gonna simplify this. A marketing funnel is just a representation of all the things that somebody has to do before they buy, right? So sometimes, and this happens a lot of the times, sometimes people try to run an ad, get on social media, send out an email, put out a flyer, and then somebody wants to buy. But it doesn't work like that. And I'll bring this to the dating world, right? When you go on a date, you don't just ask the person to go home. Doesn't work. It works once in a while, but what happens, you have to get a drink, have some conversation, and bring them into your world. Get to know each other more, exchange information, tell them about your childhood. And those are all the stages of what we call nurturing, right? So we have a little framework right here, and I'm gonna focus on the top part, which is the awareness section, right? So there's four main stages that anybody who wants to buy has to go through. First, they have to know who you are. That's what we call awareness. Second, you have to get them interested, which is those conversations, you sharing the solutions to their problems, demonstrating expertise. Then they get into consideration. They're like, you know what? This guy's always talking about the things that I need to know to get to the next level. I wonder if he could do what I need done. And that's how you get somebody to take action, right? So there's four stages, right? 1, awareness. 2, interest. 3, desire or consideration. 4th, you get them to take action. If you can do this, this is a simplified version of how you get people into your world regardless of what you do, right? Now, here's what happens when you don't have a marketing funnel, right? Like, I grew up playing music, right? So I played the piano, right? I was not that good to play by ear or like get a part of a group or do anything like that, right? But if you have a band, right? You have a pianist, a guitarist, a lead singer, a bass player. This is like randomly making an Instagram post one day and then like, man, Instagram doesn't work. Or you buy your first Facebook ad. You buy the Facebook ad, you send people to your service and nobody buys. You're like, Facebook ads don't work. Or you send one email, nobody opens it. You're like, emails don't work, right? It's you have to put everything together. So a funnel connects all of those individualized activities together. So you make an Instagram post, well, where do you send them, right? You may send an email, but what are you offering to people? You may give somebody a flyer, but you always have to ask what's in it for them. So that's what happens. So in business terms, you don't make as much money, right? That is simply what happens. You do not make enough money, right? So it's hard to turn people into interested buyers. You miss chances to sell to people who are already interested. You lose track of how well everything is working, and you struggle to understand what people work. So all that boils down to you don't make as much money as you could, because you are gonna make that one post one day and somebody is gonna buy, and then you get buyers high, you're like, yeah, this works, and then you do it again, it doesn't work, you're like, it doesn't work, right? So what we wanna create, like Mike said beautifully, is consistency. And the consistency is the fuel that makes all of this work. Now, here's what happens, right? So, like what Coach said, you want to create a community. You want to create a team. You want to connect all of the concepts together, right? So, you want to take people from learning about what you do so that they could become interested. And then, once you're tracking all of this stuff, you can now send a message to different people. So here's what we're working on, right? We want to end the high school athletes into the National Hall of Fame, right? But we have to speak to them differently than we do the coaches, than we do the managers. Like, you can't tell your 3-year-old, hey, like, don't put your hand on the stove. They don't even know what the stove is. But if it's your 15-year-old, they probably got burned a few times, so they understand what touching the stove is. So you take them from there, and now you realize, okay, I could spend money over here. I could put $3 over there and get this return. Maybe I don't need to focus on TikTok right now because the CEOs are on LinkedIn. Maybe I'm going to Facebook right now because my grandmother, she's 72, she's on Facebook right now. She just made a post, right? Or maybe I'm going to Instagram because Instagram has aged up and everybody's on it. So now you get to decide where to invest your time and effort. And then last but not least, you're able to learn more about your customers, right? So man, like these are my beautiful drawings, right? So I just drew a circle and I put everybody in the circle, right? So this is now what your marketing funnel does. It creates a system for everything to work and flow. Are we good so far with that? Mm-hmm. All right. So now what I'm gonna bring you guys into what we call the 100K subscriber campaign, and I'm gonna show you the system of how this works, right? So, like I said before, there are 4 main ways that you can get people to know about what you do, right? So that's your paid ads, that's your content, that is your outreach, and that's your partnerships. Now, what we're going to do is, we know what the challenges of high school facilities are. They're underfunded. Damn kids, they come from a lot of different backgrounds. So my father, I grew up in Jamaica, right? And my father, he worked on the community center in the neighborhood. Every Saturday, right before Sunday, he takes home all of the clothing from all the players in the neighborhood, and he's washing them in our washing machine at like 3 a.m. And I could just never really understand what he was doing. Then he brings all the clothes, the guys play the games, and after the game, now they get back and they're in the community center and they're talking about how the game was, how everything went. But after that conversation was done, now it's what jobs are you looking at? How are you, how's the family? And that whole concept is what marketing, I believe personally, is for, to create community. Because you cannot create cash flow without community. Because if you're in the business, you're in the business of people. Everybody in here is in the two businesses, the media business. This is a media product, right? Like, do not let that concept fly over your head. This product is a media platform, right? Second, we're also in the service business. Once you have customers, your customers are your boss. And if you follow those two principles, you will have unlimited business, right? So we're gonna create content and I'll show you how it's gonna work. And we're gonna bring them to something that we call a lead magnet. Is everybody here familiar with the lead magnet, yes or no?
No.
No? All right, great, right? I have a little diagram here for you to show you what a lead magnet is, right? So a lead magnet is it could be a free video, a pre-recorded webinar, a free guide, a checklist that you give to your customers to identify, to help them solve a problem completely. It is not a 2-minute video where they watch 30 seconds and then you cut it off and then you say, hey, if you want the rest, you gotta give me $5.99. That is not what it is. Those days are gone. What it is if I am a CPA, I know that people want to learn how to budget. So I am going to teach them entirely how to do a personal monthly budget. And I'm gonna show them all the steps. I'm not gonna give them the general advice. I'm gonna take the stuff that I give to my clients and I'm gonna give it all out for free. Now, I know somebody's thinking, but Jordi, if I give it all away for free, aren't they gonna steal it? If they do, they're not your customer anyways, right? And in fact, if you're running a business, you don't have time. So if you don't have, most people don't really want to do the stuff that you solve. So when we look at the coach, so the coach is the biggest part of the team because once you get the coach, you get the players, right? So now once you get the coach, and I'm going to show you how we're going to get the coach is going to influence the players because the players look up to the coach and then the coach is like the CEO. So the coach is like, all right, team, we're going over there. The team is like, all right, coach, how fast? So in your businesses, this concept may look like who is the key person of influence that you're gonna talk to, have a conversation with, that's gonna move the needle. So there's many ways to build a business, right? You could go for the general masses, or you could sell businesses or trade institutions that have other people in it. So there's a lot of ways that you can go. So one of our primary targets is to get rid of coaches, honor the coaches, and then, boom, we get the team. And then we build up the process after that. So that's pretty much what a lead magnet is. Something free, and here is the criteria for what a good lead magnet is, right? So one, you pick an obstacle, right? So the first obstacle that we're gonna look at is coaches are underpaid. They put in a lot of time and they don't get a return on their salary. So that's the obstacle. Two, we're gonna make it valuable. You have to ask yourself if you would pay $50 for this piece of free information or free training that you're gonna give. If it doesn't pass that test, people are gonna hate you. Because even though they didn't spend any money, they spent their time. And most people aren't gonna tell you that the thing that you made for free isn't that good. So, two, we make it actionable. People want to take action. So you're not gonna give them the first 3 steps and then you cut it off. You're gonna give them step 1 through A through Z, 1 through 9, the whole thing. 4, make it readable. Nobody wants to read long. I don't know about you guys, but when I see a long paragraph, I close the tab. Like, I need it to be simplified, right? So here's what I'm gonna demonstrate for you guys, right? One obstacle that we're gonna look at is a sample guide. Right now, this is some stuff that I drew up because I wanted to bring the concept down to life for you guys, right? So I'm gonna have a page, right? So how do people get access to this information, right? One of the ways is through a landing page, right? Y'all know what a landing page is, right? Like a page on your website that has a specific purpose, right? So you can have your website. Your website is like your library. But remember, not everybody goes through all the sections in the library to find a book. They go to Google to find exactly what they want. So your landing page is like that ChatGPT prompt or that Google search, and you're bringing them to a very specific page. So if I was a CPA, I'm just gonna go all the way with a CPA example, right? If I was a CPA, I'm gonna say, you know what? Hey guys, here are the 5 steps that you need to do to create a monthly budget. And I'm gonna have a landing page that says, and now it depends on who your target market is. I wanna work with wealthy families who make between $250,000 to $500,000 a year, right? So I'm gonna say, hey, are you a high 6-figure earner that whose money leaves them as soon as it comes? And then the person that clicks on it will say, yeah, that's me. And then here's what's gonna happen next, right? So what's gonna happen next is, and I just grabbed the screenshot because I wanted to show you this and how it looks, how it manifests, right? So this is what your landing page is. So this is the One Breath Metaverse 12-step plan to help high school athletes balance academics while being a star player. We know that one of the challenges is that the star player sometimes they have bad grades, right? So you want to create as little friction as possible, meaning these people don't really know who you are, so you don't want to ask them for their name, number, email, website, revenue, where they went to, who they know. No, they don't know you like that. As little commitment as possible. Name and email so you can identify who they are. That's the first step, right? So you create content. So we identify the problem. The problem is, how do high school students balance academics while being a star? To solve any problem, put how to in front of it, right? So if you don't know, I'm struggling to tie my laces, I'm gonna make a guide that says how to tie your shoelaces. It's that simple, right? Any problem you have, reverse it, put how to in front of it, then you have a solution, right? Now, they're gonna give me their name and email. This is the best part, right? Boom, look at this, right? Someone's using Coach here. Coach has a lot of content on YouTube, guys, right? so this is an example, and this is all happening while you're sleeping. So I just got their name and email. Now they're at this page, and now they're gonna watch this video, and they're gonna learn about the One Breath Metaverse. And this is all happening automatically. So now when they watch the video, look at what happens, right? Now, notice I'm not asking for their email address again. So now, I'm like, hey, guys, you love the strategies I share? Join our newsletter so you can be a part of the One Breath Change. So now that they had one small commitment first, they watched the video, they love the mission, now, right away, I'm asking them, hey, do you want to be a part of the movement? And now you're gonna get the critical pieces of information. High school graduation year, the high school name, their phone number, and their last name. So that's now gonna do what we call enriching your data. So you got one piece of data before because you wanna train them to view their emails, right? That's what you wanna do, right? So last but not least, this is an example of what a guide would look like, and this is the last point that I'm gonna touch on. This is and Coach, I just made this up before today, so like it may or may not be, right? But this is an example of what a guide or checklist like that would be, right? So we have a One Breath community funding process, right? And we modified this to fit coaches. So pretty much, this is a guide that we're gonna give to coaches to help them to learn how to raise funds from the community. Because one of the biggest problems that people have is awareness. People don't know who they are or what they do, and they don't know where or how to find the funding. So we're gonna teach them how to identify sponsors and advertisers, teach them all in this guide, how to develop a value proposition, and the rest of the items. And we're gonna repeat this for each member of our target group. So this is gonna be expansive because this is just for the coaches. Now we're gonna have 10 of these for the high school kids. Then we break that down for the cheerleaders, for the basketball players, for for the football players, for the soccer players, and it spins off in a lot of different directions. But start with who, right? Because we're solving problems for people. And I hope that this helped you guys to conceptualize how we're gonna get this machine in momentum. And I hope that there was one or two insights that helped you guys as well too. And that's the end of my presentation for now, guys.
So now I do want to let you